refresh this. I don't see anything. Start send as your video from your streaming. Okay. Let's try this again. Nope. Nope. Why? Let me go back here. Go back here. Go to live. Oh, there it is. There it is. Go back here. Go to live. Oh, so I'm live. There it is. I don't hear myself. Go to live. Oh, so I'm live. Oh, there it is. I don't hear myself. Oh, I'm live. Oh, there it is. I don't hear myself. Okay. Now I want to add a source. I want to see. Add a source. I want to see. Capture. Okay. Capture. Okay. Okay, so they should be able to see this. Okay, so they should be able to see this.
If you don't have the ball. So instead of taking an angle going toward, if you don't have the ball. So instead of taking an angle going toward,
all right, okay, so
if you don't have the ball. So instead of taking an angle going toward,
all right, okay, so
if you don't have the ball. So instead of taking an angle going toward,
all right, okay. All right, test.
So instead of taking an angle going toward,
all right, okay. All right, test.
So instead of taking an angle going toward,
all right, okay. All right, test.
So instead of taking an angle going toward,
all right, test.
So instead of taking an angle,
okay. Let me try something here. So, all right, test. Now that I have this, okay. Let me try something on here. So, all right, test. Now that I have this, okay. Let me try something on here. Tactical board I was using. Now that I have this, okay. Let me try something on here. Tactical board I was using. What the freak? Oh, that's those guys. What the freak? Oh, that's those guys. Okay, so that little dinging was the chat from the X little support because when I was trying to initiate chat from the live stream, it was not working when I clicked on live and I had to reauthorize my account. It was not working when I clicked on live. What I was doing was I was bypassing the authorization. When I clicked on live, instead of reconnecting, I was bypassing and reconnected it and authorization. I of reconnecting. So I went back again, reconnected it, and okay. So I'm gonna keep running this test here for a bit. This should, I think, I have it to where um the videos are archived. You can download animation as MP4. Okay, yeah. Let me click on this. Okay, so what I was testing there. Okay, so what I'm trying to test the stream for. Yes, yes. You know, that's my phone. So I'm going over, I'm doing some homework here. So, and by that is I coach 12U soccer here in the Central Texas area. And I am trying to go over my formations for tomorrow's playoff game. We are like in the third round and a playoff before the championship game. One of my strikers and right wing player injured his wrist, or actually fractured his wrist and would not be available. So I have to make some changes to the lineup. And while I was doing this, I was watching, as you saw, I was watching this video on the corner throw kicks, whatever. I'm always looking at different tactics and stuff to incorporate into the game plan. We were not fortunate enough to have a lot of practices this season due to the intense heat. So a lot of those practices were canceled, including a few games that we had to make up. The practices were not made up, but the game was. Or games were, for those teams that had back-to-back games. Which is kind of frustrating because you are limited to what the current skills and knowledge that your team possesses, and it's up for me to find creative ways to relay newly found information, some strategies and whatnot to the team that you barely see once a week. Some cases it was 2 weeks that we haven't played, we haven't practiced, or anything, and I would try to relay information via our communication, one of the communication channels that were offered to us at the beginning of the season. So whether or not the information gets, relayed to the players, I just have to trust the parents that communication was passed down. There's a couple of things that they could learn, or say, hey, they have a chance to kind of get a heads up. Hey, this is what we're going to do. This is, or kind of going over stuff that happened in the previous game, and kind of have like a review sort of thing. So that kind of things that makes it a bit challenging. But we adapt and overcome. It's not a big deal. But for this game, this is not gonna matter, because by the time this is being rewatched, if anyone cares or happens to kind of come across this video among the archive, the idea was to, we win our next game, we're in the championship. So which buys us, a day and some change to kind of review a couple of things, go over a couple of stuff. So what I had planned to do, or the thought that came across my mind, was to let the parents know that, hey, we have this game on Saturday, championships on Saturday, but I want to take 30 minutes, the next day, the Friday, the evening before, because it'll be um, Friday game Saturday. So Friday when the kids get off of school, and when the time it's more appropriate to where they're just getting home and normal practice time. So within like an appropriate hour to where they can get behind a computer or a tablet or maybe their mobile phone or whatever they have access to, and get on a Zoom call so I can have go over this live with all of my players, with my whole team. So I wanted to test to see um, if I can get my stream running on YouTube, because I thought about, well, I have a Zoom account. I could use Zoom. However, there are limitations with Zoom that unless you pay for the premium or whatever subscription, there's certain things you can't do. Um, with YouTube, I know that it's already archived, so I don't have to worry about having to pay for that to be recorded. So in case someone misses the Zoom call, they weren't able to catch it because they're out having dinner or family time or whatever the case may be, and they want to check it out afterwards. It's recorded, it's archived. They'd be able to check it out. Zoom, you have to pay extra to record that Zoom call, that Zoom meeting. So I wanted to test this out. So obviously don't have the camera turned on. This is just testing to see how this all looks. I have another browser up, and I have a ultra monitor where I can kind of see what it looks like. I have the audio muted, so you don't get that echo in the background. But I can kind of review this, and actually I look at it now live. There's a delay because obviously live, so there's a delay. So whenever I do something here, I'll see here in a few seconds. But this allows me to kind of see what the quality looks like if I were to kind of tune in to my channel. So everything looks good. I can add the camera, and let me see how that looks. And see, this is where it would pop up here, and it says is not ready, but we do know it works. So um, that's where the camera would show, and I can have this working when I stream again. So, but first things first, this is just a test, and so I've been kind of thinking about this all day. I'm going over like old scores and what they play, but not, at the end of the day, none of that really matters. Everyone makes adjustments. Everyone has new game plans, and so do we. And it's up to who wants it more. And hopefully, I'm very confident in my team that we will do well tomorrow. I definitely know for sure that we will do better than we did last time, because with the first time we played this team, it was our second game. We really didn't have a set formation or people in certain positions um, or anything like that until afterwards. So now that we have our set team, they're not comfortable with each other and where they're supposed to be at. They know what to do. The game's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot different from when it was last time. And since since that game, we really tightened up our defense. And we lost to the number one team. That make game that we had that was canceled was against a team that was at the time we were tied with um, in points. I think for second place, but they ended up winning. It was a very close game. Um, it was a tough game for us. It was very close, and we were all the coaches were very proud of the teams. They was like came up told me that it was a great game. I agree, great game. Um, so we were their biggest challenge all season. Out of their season, for their season, we were like their toughest opponent. Um, and so with everything that we've learned from our second game, the first game that we lost, um, I think we have a great shot at exposing, well, not exposing, but exercising our demons, I guess you want to say. We weren't too happy with that performance, and we made it a point um, to make it here and facing either. We knew who the two teams that were in our way to the championship, so I foresaw this, and so now hopefully everything works out tomorrow. I'm very confident that we will overcome, you know, um, we overcome everything and the challenges, and we'll come up on top. So I'm very confident, and uh, I don't want to be cocky and say like when we win, So if we win, and they can come back, and I can tell like I knew that we would win. I was very confident. You guys, you can go back and catch this archive, this test stream that's archived, where I'm talking about us, winning this game. And in the event that we do not win, we had an amazing season. We had an amazing season. We started without um, one of our top players that had, or one of our more experienced and seasoned players. I'll say it like that. Um, and they came back and we did well. Uh, Without them, they weren't at practice for a couple weeks beginning of the season, but they were able to come back and little by little contribute to the team um, tremendously. And so was everyone else. I don't want to like downsize um, what everyone else did, um, but they played a factor as well on defense and on offense. And now with this injury we had in yesterday's playoff, I got to make some adjustments. Well, not much of an adjustment. I'm just kind of like just kind of switching roles. We have let me see. So it's 9v9, and for the league rule is that each player must play at least 25 minutes, and it's all based off. It's all based on attendance. So, but we don't have any practice, so there's not really anything anymore for us to kind of to go off, or anything for me to kind of go off. Oh, well, you missed two practices, so you know you're not going to get your full 25 minutes. It's nothing like that because our last practice was about 3 weeks ago. Um, Ever since the cancellations for the practices and the heat and whatever stuff that kind of ruined it. So only the practice we had was the last two games. What last? Let me see. One, two. Yeah, was the last two games. That was pretty much our practice. Um, so it's not like I can say, oh well, you're I can only give you 20 minutes because you weren't attending, you whatever, you know. So, um, but anyway, it's 25 minutes per player. I have um, almost almost 18 kids, which means that only they can only play one half, which kind of sucks because you want to play everyone, you want to play everyone for the full, the full game, which is 50 minutes. It's 25-minute halves. So I can't have anyone playing both halves, with the exception of one person because I'm one short from a full 18. I think that's like the maximum anyway. So at the beginning season, I did have 18 players, um, but I had one that just never showed up, and I learned that they were pulled and refunded because they ended up not doing soccer this season. So with that I had the challenge. It was I had the, I guess you say, the privilege to trying to learn and figure out the best way to come up with a formation, not just a formation, but what roles everyone play. There's some people that have experience playing and played in other leagues before, and there's people that are new to the game, and you have all these kids that want to play that one position. So it's like football, right? So it's like football, how you have like all these kids, like what position you want to play. I want to play quarterback. Okay, good. What do you want to play? Quarterback. What do you want to play? Quarterback. What do you want to play? Quarterback. So, you know, I can't have everyone at quarterback. I gotta have, at least a goalie. I gotta have, a fullback. I gotta have a center back. I gotta have this and that. So that was something that was a challenge for me, was to um, place everyone in a position that they're a familiar with, be comfortable with, see in a position where they can learn if they haven't played before. D, position where they can kind of grow as an overall, um, soccer player slash athlete. Um, because I just can't. Again, I can't have everyone playing. Uh, these position up here. These are forwards, right? Forwards or strikers, so I can't have everyone be in the striker position. Um, I might have to put someone playing midfielder. I don't know what to do with the midfield. Well, it's not that different from playing. You're still responsible for creating scores, finding ways to score and an offense, but you're also playing defense. So, even if you're playing a forward or a striker, you're still defending the ball. If they had the ball came your way up here, you're still trying to win that ball and then push and score. So it's not that much different. They just get, it's different, and it just takes time for them to kind of adapt and get comfortable. So I do have some kids like that unfortunately, um, for me, I can't put them, in the same position everyone wants to play. I have great goalies. I have two great goalies. I have only one to play goalie, and then I have one that I asked to play goalie as well. But he's um, they can play other positions. So if I need them to play, um, center back, they play center back. If I need them to play forward or whatever, they're experienced enough to play that position. So we have players like that that's they don't care where they're at. They're comfortable. They've been playing this game long enough to where they know they're more familiar with the other positions and their roles. And then there are players that are new to soccer overall, still learning, the rules, still learning that, you can't, you know, move your arms and stuff when the ball comes and considered handball, or you can't do certain this, we can't, there's no there's no tackling in this league at all at any of the age group. Not that we have any of that, but um, they're in 12U. They can use their heads, for heading. Like I think in 10U, you can't. There's no headers allowed, but in 12U there is. So there's that adjustment for some of the players. I have two players that I've had in my first team in a different league, and um, they would. I think a header was allowed. It was 8U. I think it was 8U. So they're pretty young, but because they're familiar with me and the players, I was asked if they can play in 12U. So they're playing. I have these um, players. They're let me see, 2 3 years younger than this age group, hanging with the big kids. They're fighting with these big kids. They're hanging in there, scoring. Yeah, I want to score and doing their job. So that's all. Um, that's all thanks of their parent, um, getting them into their there's outside training and these workshops and whatnot. So we never really had that sort of thing this year. Practice, you said, is only an hour long. So there's not much that can go over with them as far as certain drills and things I want them to kind of go over. It's kind of like you go over like the basic stuff, right? But anyway, getting back to it, just to test stream to see how this appear. If I were to move this up here, I am looking to see that it's not blurry. There's no, or it's still viewable. So I don't see anything my end that's any issue. There's lines, so that looks good. I can see that on my other browser. I just figured out that I could change color. This is kind of new to me too. You can do movies. I don't know what I did, but yeah, you can. I got to redo all this. So apparently, you can do something like that. Right, say that's frame one, and then two. You can have them do something like that, and it's my first time doing this. So let me see how that looks. If I do this, wait, okay, but can I play? Okay, frame one, two. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, so it looks. I can see it fine on my other browser. So if I can see it there, they should see it. That's pretty cool. Let me stop. That's on loop. Frame zero. Hopefully the audio is well. I have it muted, so when I didn't have it muted, I could hear myself. But I think I am going. I am happy with how this looks and with the audio. Hopefully we win tomorrow, and then so we win tomorrow, and you're watching this, or you watch archive, then you're gonna see this on Friday. So, and if not, if not, I think I still will have a recap. Just kind of like for them to understand what went on in the game, and they can take that knowledge and take it into the next season. I think the fall season begins in January or February, so if they decide to play in the fall, um, they're learning, what happened last game. I know I have some kids that are playing in another league right now, so they're playing like in two leagues. Um, so they can take, that information and use it going forward. But yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. I think I'm done with my homework. I have my lineup for tomorrow, and I have work, so I gotta get some sleep. And so I'm gonna end this, and then I'm gonna review, see how it looks up, and call it an evening. So how do I end this? I think I just click on this. So, but if you're watching this, or if you're watching archive, thanks for tuning in. Right, peace. What did I just do? Oh, I'm streaming